On this beautiful Monday, the 9th of September, 2024, there's quite a lot for us to discuss in terms of politics. And this morning, we'll be examining all the undercurrents in everything happening. Politics seems to be taking a roller coaster ride with events happening in sequences one after the other. Just as the country was still grappling or discussing the Lumu bill, then there was an incident, a shooting incident that involved Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi, the principal of National Unity Platform, that has also caused a big storm. What does this mean for politics, especially as we head into 2026? Is it time for the country to say, yes, it's politics, stupid? Well, joining me this morning is Honorable Dombo Lumala, the Director of Communications at the NRM Secretariat. And during the course of the show, we'll also be joined by Honorable Richard Sebamala, Member of Parliament for Bukoto Central. Well, Honorable Dombo, a very good morning.
Good morning, Bwana Njala, and good morning, our viewers. It's a pleasure for me to be here this morning once again.
How are you watching national politics at the moment? There seems to be too much on the radar.
Mr. Angela, before I get to your question, allow me to express my condolences to the members of the bereaved family of the late Minister of State for Defense, Honorable Sarah Mateke.
Oh, sad.
Honorable Sarah Mateke has been our flag bearer from Kisoro district, and a minister and a very strong leader who has been doing fundamental work for the people of Kisoro and for generally for the country. And on Saturday morning, when I was just going for another program on one of the media stations in Kampala, we had the news about this demise, and it was very painful and very sad. Allow me to commiserate with the members of the family, especially the father, the Honorable Mateke, very senior veteran leader in this country. He told me a lot of stories.
About Chisoro?
About politics and about the church, Catholic Church and the Anglican Church. He's an Anglican. And he was a minister of Minister of State for Education.
During the Obote reign.
The Obote regime. And he had a very interesting experience. He told me about Namiriango College. And he told me, Dombo, don't joke with these priests here. They can be very hard people. He told me of a story when he recommended the student to be given a place, but I think the marks wasn't enough. And when the headmaster refused, he escalated his decision and wrote for the headmaster to be transferred. And what the cardinal did at that time, he wrote back and said the Catholic Church is withdrawing the school from government sponsorship.
I've seen another instance of that kind. There was a time when there was a preferred headmistress from government, and the church also had its own. Then the Archbishop Luanga wrote and said, bring back my school.
So this is an experience which Mzee Mateke did.
Some of the things, the conversations we want to hear from veterans.
And these are some of the things, I don't know whether some of them have been authored, so that people know where our politics has come. And that's why I encourage young politicians that when you meet old people, discuss with them, have a chat with them, find out what happened in the past. It could easily influence what we decide today.
Where is Mateke? Of course, this is just on the sidelines. This is for the sideshow. Where is Philemon Mateke?
Philemon Mateke is in Kisoro. He's the chairman of NRM.
Still active.
And extremely strong at his age.
The last I heard, he was State for Foreign Affairs.
Yes, Minister of State for Foreign Affairs. But recently, he went there for a by-election, and you could see how strong he is. Of course, he's frail because he's an old man. But he's a man who has served his country, but the people of Kisoro with dexterity.
Well, getting to the issue of the moment, last week there was a very ugly incident involving the principal, the opposition bigwig, Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi, the shooting, the confrontation between him and police. It's been escalated with a lot of speculations, with a lot of narratives. What are you reading between the lines?
When this incident happened, I was again in Kampala on one of the media stations, just about to begin a program at around 7 p.m. And when I go to the media, I saw the message started running around that Honorable Kyagulanyi had been shot. After establishing the facts, preliminary facts, I did send a tweet sending my commiserations and sympathies with him, and also wishing him quick recovery, because I didn't know what exactly had happened. You know, in Uganda, there is a tendency for people to want to pretend when somebody has died. You remember what happened to Honorable Jacob Oulanyah and what people did and demonstrated against him. But when he died, you saw people going to Gulu with a goat, with what? We said, to what extent are we going really to build a country when we cannot condole with one another even in terms of challenges? But I also not stopped there. I also said, but the police, what exactly happened? Can the police expedite the investigation so that the public can know what exactly happened and what brought this challenge? We later established, although some videos which had been circulated indicated that he had been shot a bullet, but it was later confirmed. Actually, it was in the morning when I read the tweet from the Katikiro of Buganda, when I read that it was a gas canister. And this shows you that the temperature is beginning to rise. Every time during elections, whether it is in internal party elections, whether it is in different political parties, whether it is at national stage, once the National Electoral Commission brings out the program, then the challenge becomes extremely vivid, and it is upon the players. I don't know whether these candidates and the players will have an opportunity to meet as candidates and determine on the modus operandi, but if they don't, they should know that every action of the players, whether they are police, whether they are the candidates, every action has consequences.
Do you subscribe to the school of thought that argues that the NUP camp is capitalizing on this incident for their political expedience?
I wouldn't want to begin discussing issues that involve somebody's human life unless their conduct themselves portrays it in that way. You know, during the previous elections, there are so many things that happened. But nobody knew that the incidents that happened during the elections will end up in the Oscars for nomination. And what happened in the previous elections? You know, my brother, Honorable Kyagulanyi, was nominated in the Oscars because of what had been presented during those elections, the way they featured. And there was a film that was premiered and showed in other parts of the country. It has also been shown in various media stations here in Uganda and on the social media. So what happens in the elections, I don't want to begin blaming anybody, but I want to tell everybody that the candidates have a responsibility, or everybody who aspires to be a leader in the country has a responsibility. One, to show that they are mature and they really want to lead the country. And they must demonstrate where they want to lead the country. And three, they have responsibilities as citizens of the country in the citizens' virtue in order to show what exactly they must do on their part.
Well, before I bring in Honorable Richard Semamala, what's your take on how the story has unfolded since? The leader, Bobi Wine, is taken to hospital, discharged, and then the discussion, he holds a press conference, looks at it as targeted killing.
For me, I only got surprised at the expeditious recovery. Because when my brother was first admitted in hospital, and the way the pictures portrayed him and the bandages that were put on him, they indicated that there had been a very serious injury, and some of us got scared and worried for his life, and wondered how we are going to come to the media to begin discussing somebody whose bone had been shattered and he was on plaster. But the following day, I got my brother. At first I thought the hospital was being inconsiderate, because how could they bring in somebody in the evening and then the following whose bone had been shattered and had undergone surgery, and then they discharge somebody from hospital? To me, it is something I almost rang the Minister of Health to find out, but why would this happen? Initially, themselves, they put up a press statement which indicated that the hospital had been surrounded, there were very many people, and therefore they wanted...
That's true. The hospital, the road was cordoned off.
So they wanted to enable my brother to go and recover from home. But even when he reached home, I thought he would be at home recovering. The following day I saw him at a press conference. So it is him who knows best what exactly happened. For me, what I could only do is to pray for him so that he recovers quickly, so that we can come and engage in the politics. But while we engage in the politics, let me hope that everybody will engage in a civil manner, knowing that all our actions...
You seem to be drawing this more towards politics. There is a lot of politics than the reality.
I don't know, I wouldn't want to say that, but when you look at the videos on social media, to me, I have no other source apart from what I saw on social media. There is one of the video which came out and indicated that although the leg which had been injured, my brother, when he was moving on the crutches, it is the leg on which he was laying the foundation of the body as he moved. So ordinarily and naturally that wouldn't occur. But now, it is not for me to go and discuss that, because he has come up to say he has been injured, he has been to hospital. For us, as a sister party, we can only wish him quick recovery so that we can engage in discussions and talking, which will take our politics a mile further.
Honorable Sebamala joins us now. A very good morning and nice to see you. There's been a lot of hullabaloo, a lot of ruckus surrounding the shooting, the incident where Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi was injured. What do you read between the lines? And the speculation, the conspiracy theories and everything.
Allow me to say hello to the Ugandans and NBS viewers, and also send my condolences to my fellow MP, Sarah Mateke, his family that passed on over the weekend. After that, it is true that the police engaged NUP in Bulindo. That is true. It is true that the venue or the location in which the police engaged the NUP group had no traffic. It is also true that a canister was thrown or was in the vicinity of the scene, and Bobi Wine or Honorable Kyagulanyi Ssentamu was hurt. Those are facts. Now, what we are here to analyze is whether the actions of the police were right.
No. How it has taken all the twists and turns.
Let's start whether it was okay. First and foremost, it was not okay. Let's agree with the Dombo that throwing a canister or blasting a canister that is going to take somebody's leg or hand is irregular for the police. And we also ask ourselves whether the NUP group was heading to Entebbe State House, because that is where we expect them to be. I want to be quoted. That the reason why people overwhelmingly voted Honorable Kyagulanyi Ssentamu was because they wanted him in State House. Then somehow he did not get there. He's now in his home in Magere. He goes around the country to mobilize people that can help him go back to the realm or go back to the road or path of going to Entebbe. Now the question is whether the actions that are going on help him or help any of us to take him to Entebbe. What has unfolded is he got hurt, and that is very irregular. That was very bad. It is unheard of. But the way, like he said, the videos that are playing and everything that is going on social media, it shows that I think this has been overrated. One, by the police. Because the police, somebody cannot get hurt, then you just wake up and say they hurt themselves by using a vehicle, something like that. He was entering a vehicle, then something happened. Then on the NUP side, it has also been overrated because we have all gotten hurt. We have gotten fractures. We are in elections. For me personally, I feel, yes, it was absurd, but the way it has taken the media, the way it has been blown out of proportion, and for the people that are rating ourselves with the rebels that we are going to engage in the 2026 elections, we truly believe that, yes, that was wrong. He would have been taken to hospital, be hospitalized, and the next day we expected we were going to be up and jumping. Because
he's still frail. He's still weak.
I agree.
He's moving on crutches.
I agree with what is going on with the movement on crutches and everything. What I don't agree is whether if we are to engage these people in 2026 and we are engaging rebels and we are supposed to rate ourselves at a particular level.
Rebels? Which rebels?
These people are rebels. They have never gotten out of the rebel system. You see him smiling even. They have never gotten out of the NRM. For them, the NRA, they still think that whoever wants to take over this government should go to Bush. Now, if you want to engage such people, you're supposed to show some kind of muscle. You're supposed to show some kind of stature to know, such that they also feel the person. Yes, this was a canister, but if it was a canister on a civilian, yes, it was very bad. I condone it, actually. People should be jailed for that.
You condemn?
I condemn. And people should be jailed for that. Or whoever made those orders, they were irregular. And then I had another one telling shoot him. Now, I don't know whether the command to shoot him was coming from the commander that was on scene, or it was coming from somebody in the vicinity. The video does not show it clearly. But what it shows is somebody getting a pistol to go and shoot. Now, to shoot what? And for what? Because we should know where the police should be trained to know where our focus should be.
Yeah, but is it setting the tone now for 2026? Do you think this is just a precursor of what is yet to happen? It's going to be bloody.
I would say it's going to be bloody because a 40-year president seeking re-election is unheard of. So we are very sure that whatever is going to happen in 2026 is going to be tough and hard. But if this is the way we are going to act when something happens to us, then we are not prepared for the elections.
What is wrong?
I want an opposition that is ready to face this kind of ruckus from the police. I want an opposition that has trained. You know, we have had 40 years of this president, and the opposition has come growing. From the time when we were using batons. Remember, they first brought LODUs. Then they brought batons, LODUs with Chiboko. Then they brought batons. Then they brought Madoa Doa. Then they came from Madoa Doa, they came to military police. From military police, they came to CT, those ones in black that are putting on black. They have now engaged SFC in some places. You saw them here when we had the riot in parliament. So we expect the opposition also to have grown from petty clashes of being jailed and taken to now serious engagement with the oppressor.
Yeah, but you're seeming to vulgarize this as just one simple little event that is big.
It happened, and I condemn the police for it. I just want an opposition that is prepared for that. I don't want that to be new. I don't want that to be an issue of police has beaten us, we have gone, police has taken cameras, police has done what. Now that is a list of what the police has been doing. What are we doing as the opposition to make sure that we, you know,
So,
we face this?
So the opposition is overblowing an incident.
Well, I think we are pushing this thing out of proportion. We are supposed to be showing this police next time. Because I even heard somebody that was saying, Tubakuba Mainja, let's stone these people. Now that one I listen. Because now that person now knows the people that we are facing. And is trying to look for a solution. Because this is what these people need. Otherwise, these things of coming to, you know, politics with clean hands and soft gloves, as if we are going to for a marriage, are not going to happen in 2026.
Okay. Do you tend to dispute the account from the NUP leader that he was being targeted for?
At the time of engagement, you realize that actually they targeted him. At the time of engagement, if somebody says shoot him, that means now that is what now confirms the target. But at the time of at the time of the ruckus, I didn't see why the police was beating up the NUP boys. Did you see that scenario? Beating up the NUP border boys, everyone that was in red, dispersing this one, doing what? Now that was uncalled for. And that is what is blowing this thing out of proportion. And actually, this is when the police works for the opposition to put it to make it rise. Because 2021 was an election that was 80% sympathy vote for Honorable Kyagulanyi. The people in Buganda here felt they were their son was being mistreated. Mothers started crying in the villages. The youth felt, you know, this is their own. Because they were creating, now, you know, police and the army and everyone was creating this person. Now, this is the same thing that you're doing in 2026.
Okay.
Down the road, instead of the youth bubble is you know, the youth 18 to 35, the bubble is so tight it is almost blowing. Instead of taking them and giving them leaders that have issues and are going to address their issues, you're giving them somebody that is they're going to be sympathetic about.
Well, very interesting. Thank you very much, Honorable Sebamala. Well, at his press conference, Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi made quite a number of grand allegations. One of them was that there is an assassination attempt on him.
Well, Mr. Njala, before I talk about the allegation, because I want to remind my brother, Honorable Richard. When you called him Richard, and I usually see him with a rosary, now I can't see it because it could be concealed inside.
It's here.
Because I see him with the rosary, I believe he's a Christian. And he knows what the Bible says about obeying the leadership, obeying God, and obeying those God put into leadership. And the responsibility that we have as leaders when you talk to our people. Because you could easily mention that and say, those boys who said Mumukuba Mainja did well.
No,
but
my thing is not they did well. I feel that they are now waking up to the sirens of what they are going to face. You know, if somebody is coming with tear gas and guns and everything, and somebody says, I think these people should be stoned.
You want to incite?
That is
I wouldn't. So that now when the police is bringing tear gas, is it inciting?
That is
or
what
it's doing its work?
You see, Honorable Sebamala is a member of parliament who voted a classified budget. A budget including a classified budget to government and state agencies in order to perform their functions. But he also knows that there are laws including the Public Order Management Act. And he knows that police has a civic and mandatory duty to create order for you as member of parliament to do your work, but also for us who are outside parliament to ensure that we enjoy our rights when we are doing our work. I think let us as leaders, whichever positions we may occupy, remind the citizens of their civic vacuum and the responsibilities that they have, but also do exactly not incite the population, because if somebody hears your words and he throws a stone at the police, how will police respond if he's armed? Because you cannot predict with a fair certainty how somebody armed with a gun may respond to somebody who throws a stone and hits his eye.
Bobby says he's targeted for assassination.
But going on, that is only for Bobby to justify why somebody wants to assassinate him would throw a gas canister on the leg when the head is available. So I wouldn't say, but that is for Bobby to say. May I know this was a fracas which was poorly handled. That is
by the police.
By the police. That is what comes out. Because on the public engagement, because there is something I don't understand, Mr. Njala. Because Bobby Wine went to Mr. Musisi's place.
Peacefully.
Peacefully. How did he do it? And what did he do different when he was returning? Because if this issue is followed right from the beginning, it is possible to see where the mistake was. Either the mistake was by the police or the mistake was by the other Bobo Wine and his team. What exactly happened? Because the videos that have been circulating on social media don't bring out this story properly. Because
he emerged out of the vehicle and he wanted to walk and gun a crowd.
And what did the police say?
Preventively, they asked him to go.
Did they warn him?
And,
did they warn
and
him?
leave.
Did they tell him to perhaps be on the open roof and wave to the people as he drives and go through? Because all the actions that people do.
Yeah, but it points to some bit of premeditation that police was ready to engage.
Of course, police's actions are based on the nature of the intelligence that they have. Because which is not private to me, and I've not had an opportunity. You may need to bring the police spokesperson here to come and tell the public what exactly happened. But to me, in the broader way, going forward, there are going to be so many incidents of this kind. And I've encountered many in the by-elections that we have been in. And people have died. Either in poor management of traffic or poor engagement, irrespective of where. Should a Ugandan die because he's going on a rally? Should a Ugandan die because he's supporting somebody?
But in a broader outlook of politics, does it really suggest to you that Bobby Wine has now set the stage for 2026 and it's time to rumble?
All the candidates' actions are going to set the stage, depending on the way the way they conduct themselves. Because
he has, because as we speak, even his ratings have been positively affected. He's now a subject of sympathy.
No.
Yes.
Honorable Bobby Wine is the substantive leader of the opposition in this country. There is no dispute about that. And that is why even he himself believes that Honorable Senyonyi is not the leader of the opposition.
I don't think he's made that assertion.
Read his tweet. Bobby Wine's tweet 2 days ago, how he referred to Honorable Senyonyi. It said the leader of our front in the parliament. Himself, I had to remind him, to tell him that actually your leader of the front in parliament is also officially referred to as the leader of the opposition. That has been a conceptual problem for him right from the times of Honorable Mpuga. Because when you say leader of the opposition, who is the leader of the opposition? He knows he himself is the leader of the opposition. Therefore, him being the leader of the opposition cannot be underrated. But he must also know that because he's the leader of the opposition, the level of engagement is different. He should not behave like he used to do when he was a ghetto president. Right now, he should engage the IGP. He can engage the president of Uganda. He can engage the members of parliament. He can engage the ambassadors. He can engage all the civic people in this country in order to come up with a modus operandi of how politics is going to be run. He says being a ghetto president. And he must provide leadership to the team that believes in him.
There's been quite a number of engagements between police and the National Unity Platform leadership. Do you wonder why nothing, no amount of change has happened in the way police enforces the law on Honorable Kyagulanyi?
I recently listened to the leader of the opposition, even Honorable Kyagulanyi himself, when they returned from Western Uganda. He was wondering how he successfully had a successful tour of Western Uganda, meeting the people without the same incidents that occurred elsewhere. If you went back to his tweets, you read that. Even on the media stations, the leader of the opposition was interviewed. I'm very sure that his successful tour of Western Uganda should have been a product of continuous engagement with the law enforcers. What is true is that in the past elections, in the previous elections, we had some high-handed behavior and conduct of some of our law enforcers, and the president came out to address this matter after the elections. He even promised that the Inspector General of Police promised that the curriculum for training about human rights for the policemen when they're being trained is going to be enhanced so that matters of human rights, how they arrest, how they relate, and how they engage is going to change. Now we have a new Inspector General of Police, and he has progressively engaged the team. There have been meetings at the police headquarters. I believe going forward, this is the only way we can conduct a peaceful election, especially if every person respects their part of bargain.
Well, as we get off this topic, do you think the stage for a bloody 2026 is set? And how should Ugandans really worry that the incidents that happened in the past are set to recur?
I would say true to the first question. In the first place, if the police can engage a crowd that doesn't even have a club or anything, if they can engage them the way they did in Ulindo, then they are reminding us of 2026. Two, I would also want to ask the opposition to build our capacity to defend ourselves for 2026. It is high time, and I'm telling you, the opposition, it is high time we build capacity. If we have not built it, though, it is high time we build capacity to engage these kind of acts. We have been in a situation of lamenting all the time. The police has beaten us. It has taken cameras. It has done what? The police is doing this. The police is doing this. The level at which the public expects us to react is much different. The level at which these voters are badly yearning for change is at another peak after these 40 years. So it is important that we get out of these petty, issues of cameras and everything, and then engage in serious, exchange of...
What is petty?
Now, how will words take away the president? However much you talk, this man is a battle-hardened. He doesn't even mind whether you abuse him. He doesn't even mind whether you're saying the truth or you're saying something wrong. Whatever you speak, he turns it politically. So if you're seeking change in this environment, are we doing what we are supposed to be doing now as the opposition?
Okay.
We have engaged him in parliament.
How did you...
We have walked out of parliament. Wait, let me tell you. We have walked out of parliament. We have used cameras to show every evil that has been done in this country. We have engaged him on radio stations and TV stations. We have done everything that is there possible. But the NRM continues to lead, and it continues to take pride in the actions that are going on in this country. So does that mean that we are using the right methods of engagement? I don't think so. I think the public should understand that the level of engagement of a regime that is 40 years old with the army, the Navy, the Air Force, the commandos, the levels of engagement should not be these. Unless we are going to be jokers and we think that we are going to go play around, vote, and then somehow a miracle will come and then we shall be, like he said, we are supposed to be engaging some other powers that can help exert pressure on this particular regime. We are supposed to be doing very different things.
So
to
what
make
are you
sure
doing?
that
What are you doing instead of what you ought to be doing?
we are doing the normative, showing off that the regime is bad, which everyone knows all over the world, that the regime has a problem, it has overstayed. We are talking all over the media, using Facebook and basically that is what we are doing. That is what we are doing. I am asking the opposition today, at this point we are supposed to have built capacity to do more than what, actually at this point the police should be afraid of us. At this point, because truthfully speaking, how many deserters are in police? How many deserters are in the army? How many veterans are in this country? How many people are deserting SFC? Today you cannot believe that, you cannot say that the opposition cannot engage the regime. Because also the people on the opposition there are very many people, seasoned politicians, seasoned politicians that have retired, seasoned army officers, police officers, very many people that we can engage and say, is there a way we can create a mass? Is there a way we can create a force that also the other side can actually see that we are doing something?
Well, we'll take a very short break. I'm afraid we've already run past the time for our break.
I just wanted to remind him that my brother Sebamala defeated a vice president of Uganda.
Not just like that.
He defeated the vice president of Uganda and he was protected by the police to do so.
And it is the same police.
When we return, we'll be looking at the Lumu proposed amendment and how it is shaping politics. Good morning. Welcome back. It's still the Morning Breeze as we dissect some of the big stories that are unfolding on the political landscape. Well, the country is still discussing the proposed amendment bill for Parliament, for the administration of Parliament, that would review or revise the way a leader of opposition is elected in Parliament, among other things. Well, the man behind all this is Honorable Lumu. In a way, it's caused a bit of frenzy with all sections reacting differently. The NUP has been vehement against this, while several other sources are also saying maybe it's time to look into the process, into the internal processes that see the election of the leader of opposition. I'll begin with you, Honorable Dombo. What do you make of the anxiety the Lumu proposed amendment is creating?
I think, first and foremost, the Lumu proposal took our brothers in the opposition, especially in the National Unity Platform, by surprise and shock. Because the party, when we were in Parliament and we made the law, we provided, really looking at government side, we provided that the leader of opposition should come from the party with the second biggest number of members of parliament, or the biggest number of parliament on the opposition. And this has gone on well, apart from when we were beginning, because the law does not say how that leader of the opposition is determined by that party.
To be specific, what does the law say?
The law says that the leader of the opposition should come from the party with the leading number on the opposition, which is National Unity Platform. Previously, it was the Forum for Democratic Change, and it has worked well.
So there is ambiguity in the law, you think?
There is a lot that can be done to improve the law. Because I just want to ask you, Bwana Njala, supposing yesterday we had elections, or tomorrow we have elections, and the FDC gets 30 members of parliament, and NUP gets 30 members of parliament. Where will the leader of the opposition come from? The law isn't clear. There are certain things that must be put right within the law, and so I would appeal to members in the parliament, not to just harangue Mr. Lumu for coming up with this proposal, but
they're questioning the spirit and the tone. it's as though it is targeting the current leader of opposition.
How will it target him when he's already the leader of the opposition? Because he's already the leader of the opposition. Does this law say they are going to conduct fresh elections after the law has been passed?
We gather there are controversial clauses.
Because to me, I think let them look at the law on its merit and then find out whether there are areas they can improve. We can all benefit from this proposed amendment which is coming up. To me, the most important thing, which we must be talking about, why now? What has precipitated this issue to become an issue? At one time, Honorable Segona had come up with a similar proposition. And here it is done in other countries. So what are the circumstances that had propelled Honorable Segona to imagine that this should have happened or should happen? And how did Segona drop the idea? And why should Lumu come up? Because it seems the modus operandi within Parliament and within the opposition has its own challenges that the opposition must first of all remedy.
So the timing and spirit are suspicious, in your opinion?
It's not only suspicious, but a proposed amendment or a proposed legislation usually comes to remedy a problem, to simplify a situation, or to enable something that must be done. Right now, it seems there is a problem in the way the opposition relates to one another. Because, Simon, there are two sides in Parliament. There is the opposition and there is the government side. So, the leader of the opposition, does he lead his party when he's in Parliament? Or does he lead the whole side of the opposition? And if you are leading the whole side of the opposition, how do you relate and conduct business in relation to the people that you'll galvanize in order to form a position that must come in Parliament? That is the area that they must be debating right now in the Parliament.
Well, Honorable Sebamala, for the record, do you support the Lumu bill, the Lumu amendment proposal?
No. No, I don't. Because I don't believe I'm in Parliament to be in the opposition. I'm supposed to be in Parliament to take over power.
Do you think?
For me, what I think, this is what I think. It is true we have issues in Parliament as an opposition.
What are the issues?
It is very true. One, of course, if we have a budget of 3 billion or almost 2-point-something billion, is it being shared equally across all parties to see that they all do their opposition activities?
For the leader of opposition's office?
The leader of opposition's office. It's around 2.2 billion. That is one. Two, is the leader of opposition listening to all, calling, is it humble and calling to everyone such that we share all our views as an opposition?
Is he collegial? Is he?
Now I'm giving you the issues. The third one would be, do we discuss, have we had the caucus as the opposition, all of us, to come down and discuss particular issues? Have we ever come down to make sure that, you know what, let us all come in and then agree on how we are going to move on particular issues? All either cabinet decides, which is mainly, NUP or what. So some people in the opposition were feeling like the opposition is being treated as NUP. You understand? So because there has failed to be, or because there is a very thin line between the opposition and NUP when taking decisions on matters, that is why Honorable Lumu came up with this. For me, that is the only reason, because he did not consult me or consult anybody. I would think that is the only reason he came up with this, because we have failed to unite as an opposition inside Parliament.
Okay. You posed 3 questions, but you didn't seem to provide answers. Is the opposition united in Parliament?
No.
Is the opposition having a share across the bar of the 2-point-something billion allocated to the office? Is there a consensus from the opposition in Parliament?
No. That is why I say that because of all of that, Honorable Lumu can come up with this proposed, this proposed bill. However...
So it's born out of bitterness?
It's born out of bitterness. But then for me, I'm saying, personally, I feel the leader of opposition, like he said it a while ago, that the leader of opposition is not a leader of the opposition members of parliament. I want to be quoted right. The leader of opposition should not be the leader of the opposition members of parliament in parliament. He should be the leader of the opposition that is outside parliament. Is he speaking to what the opposition wants? Because he's a leader of opposition, not a leader of opposition members of parliament. So what are the actions of Honorable Ssenyonyi? Speaking to those opposition, the people that, you know, are in the opposition outside parliament. Are his actions, do they match? Do they correlate? Is whatever he's doing, is it what the public, the opposition public, expects him to do? That's where I want him to be. That's where I want him to see himself. That is why a while ago, Honorable Dombo was saying that Honorable Kyagulanyi does not, I don't know how we put it, I don't want to quote him verbatim, but he says he feels he does not measure up to that. He feels that he's the leader of opposition and the other one is working for him. The reason why there is a leader of opposition, that leader of opposition is supposed to speak for the opposition.
So
not for the opposition members of parliament. In
real terms, you imagine that it's time to scrutinize the way the office of the leader of opposition in parliament.
And for me, I feel those are internal grudges that would have sorted personally without bill or law. I feel that I personally feel that these internal grievances as the opposition could be sorted out internally. If we should not necessarily come up with voting the leader of opposition. For what?
You have a sense of discontent in the way
for me,
the office of law.
If I have a problem with Honorable Kyagulanyi, I'll go to Kyagulanyi. If I have a problem with the leader of opposition, I'll go to him and tell him this is the problem. I'll not need legislation. If I have a problem with His Excellency Besigye or the party president of Katonga, I'll go to him and I tell him, you know what, Honorable Chifefe, I have a problem with you, ABCD. That is what we should be able to engage.
Okay. The law in its current structure, do you think it caters well for the interests of the opposition in parliament?
What happens is, like he said, when the law is coming up, it's either to improve the situation or introduce,
or
cure something new, or to take away something completely. At the moment, what Lumu wants to bring is to help cure the grievances that would have solved internally. And that is why people are seeing him as a traitor. Lumu is not necessarily a traitor. Actually, what Lumu is doing is he has taken the internal grievances of the opposition into law. That is what he's doing. Which I feel would, and at that point is because Lumu says he has written to these people, called on to them, let's do this, let's sit, let's do this. They did not reply. So he decided to take the internal grievances into law. And it is his call.
Where do you see it heading? Where is it headed?
Personally, I don't believe in, anyway, like I told you in the beginning, for me, I believe in things that will take the opposition forward. I don't want to be in opposition forever. If anything, these are the last 5 years I want to be in the opposition. If anything, these are the last 5 years I want to be in the opposition. I want to be in government. I want us to be in government in the next 5 years. If anybody has listened to me speak, I do not speak as somebody that wants to be in the opposition next year. I want to be in government and government to be in the opposition. So today, in conclusion, I do not want us to start legislating for how the opposition should be treated.
For your comfort.
For our comfort. I don't want us to be comfortable in the opposition. I want us to be agitated to take over power.
Well, there seems to be a sense of disarray now within the opposition. It never went down well with the NUP and other political players who are raising eyebrows on this. Is NRM having the last laugh as the opposition tears apart?
Simon, the problem in the opposition is ideological. because Honorable Dr. Kizza Besigye had a disagreement with some of his colleagues. I don't know whether from the bush. And that disagreement continued and until they parted ways. And now, in his parting of ways, he created an ideology that you cannot talk to President Museveni at personal level. And that's one of the biggest disagreements that they had with Honorable Professor Ogenga Latigo. Whereas Ogenga Latigo believed in engagement, constructive engagement, my brother, Dr. Kizza Besigye, believed in altercation.
Defiance.
No, but it's because he had lived with him longer and he knew him.
Because he believed in defiance. But when you come up in Parliament, Parliament is a talking place. And I want to admire my brother and remind him that the same reasons he has just given him here, what he does when he feels discontented, that is what the leaders must be doing. For instance, he says he can engage Kyagulanyi, he can engage the leader of the opposition. Now, when the leader...
If need be.
When Kyagulanyi was escalated and he became the leader of the opposition in the country, and Honorable Joel Senyonyi, even
his representative,
the people of engagement also deferred. Now, he doesn't go back to engage only the opposition because the other side that he mirrors is headed by government. Those are the people he must be engaging. He must engage the president of Uganda. He must engage the inspector general of government, which is part of the executive. He must engage the prime minister. He must engage the speaker because he's a leader at that level. Unfortunately, what is happening in Uganda is failure to agree and talk to one another. And I would not be surprised if there is a silent hit back at Honorable Kyagulanyi in the manner this bill is coming up. Because somebody will have asked...
A silent coup.
I don't want to say that, but you're a mature and intelligent person, you understand. But because...
You're coming up with a silent coup.
Not silent coup. Because ordinarily, when you went to Gulu, I heard that you had agreed that the modus operandi is going to be that you are going to talk about matters of Gulu.
The northern Uganda.
Of northern Uganda. Then,
so how this...
Then all of a sudden,
this
matter comes up. That's what I'm telling you. That when you deal with people, they use their leverage to deal with matter or to pay you back in your own currency. That's why they tell you that we will go musajja muno.
We
need to bring this to an end.
Exactly there.
As we sign out, yes.
As we sign out. Mukulu Museveni waba agoba basajja banne alikemu agana amuzeeka.
Well, I want to
thank you very much, Honorable Dombo. Thank you very much, Honorable Lumu. And that brings us to the end of today's topical discussion. Have a lovely day and cheers.